It's Sunday night. It's 8 o'clock. Welcome to All Lacrosse Live. I'm Gary Groob in Toronto, and with me, as always, I have Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw. Shawn, how are you?
Doing pretty good, thanks, Gary.
Good. And I have Muffler Mike over in Connecticut. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Excellent. I'm battling some allergies. I don't have allergies, but, I guess our pollen is high now. So my voice is a little scratchy. It is what it is. But we got a busy week. Got some strange stuff this week. We got some news for you also. But all of us have been busy with all the summer leagues, which are going haywire on us. And we will get to all of that momentarily. Just a few things to clear up around here. Just remember that all of our shows are streamed live across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and also Twitch. And remember to hit the subscribe, follow, and like buttons. Always share. Please enjoy all the affiliates across the Streampunk network, which includes Streampunk Cinema, Streampunk Combat, Streampunk anything you can think of. If you've missed a show, no worries. You can grab everything at YouTube, at Streampunk Sports, Streampunk Cinema, Streampunk Combat, or if you're looking for our stuff at All Across all the time, in which you will find retro games, interviews, our library of shows, also library of shows for the other show, the NLL Lacrosse Talk, also on there, and other things as well as fights and some more things. So please give it a look, give it a subscribe, tell people about it. And remember, you can stay up to date with all sports by visiting streampunkentertainment.com with great articles from our huge staff of contributors. Also remember that our show is brought to you by 60. 60 is Canada's newest and most exciting sports uniform and teamwear brand, delivering top quality uniforms and teamwear that reflects the spirit and identity of each team. Their commitment to innovation and excellence sets them apart, ensuring that every customer experiences the perfect blend of style and functionality. Unleash your greatness with 60. And of course, to get a hold of them, you can use the QR screen that's on our screen here, the QR code. You can find them on Instagram at sweet_60. You can email them at info.sweet60@gmail.com. Go onto their website directly at www.sweet60.ca/60. Remember also to add Lax Talk 10 for a 10% discount on your order. Alrighty. And we're going to be doing some great things with them in the near future, and just a little gander some of the things that are in the works. Some pretty cool stuff. Kind of stuff for everywhere. And Eduardo is with us. Eduardo, welcome.
Yeah, Eduardo.
Happy Father's Day to everybody. I love this picture. Brings me back to when I was a little boy. That would be my dad. Love it. Love it. Just a reminder that from July 19th, if you're anywhere in the Ontario area, please head over to Memorial Arena in Brampton. Join the Brampton Excelsiors and Six Nations Chiefs in raising money for the Ontario Native Women's Association. 8 o'clock on July the 19th is your game time. Indigenous women are 4 times more likely to be victims of violence in Canada than non-Indigenous women. So help out a great cause, watch a great game, and be altogether fulfilled. It will be a great time, and a great time will be had by all. Interesting news. Mark Grimes is retiring as the commissioner of the OJLL. The OJLL announced that Mark Grimes has officially resigned from his role as commissioner, having remained actively involved behind the scenes through the early stages of the current season. Appointed in 2021, Mark was tasked with leading the league through one of the most uncertain times in sports. His advocacy secured the OJLL's inclusion in Ontario's elite stream, returning to play alongside the OHL and other professional leagues, bringing more than 300 athletes back to competition. Every game of the modified season was broadcast live, delivering unprecedented visibility to junior lacrosse across North America. Mark was instrumental in implementing the modernized rules set that has since been adapted across the country, aligning the way the game is played across Canada's top junior and senior leagues. His commitment to ensuring that officials are a critical partner in the OGLL also saw the pioneering of the three official system, a change Mark strongly championed to increase player safety and referee development. Off the floor, Mark elevated the league's operations to a professional standard, successfully securing multi-year sponsorships to elevate the promotion of players, teams, and events. His commitment to collaboration, growth, and excellence helped solidify the OGLL's reputation as the best junior lacrosse league in the world. The OGLL Board of Governors extends its sincere thanks to Mark Grimes for his visionary leadership and lasting contributions to the game of lacrosse. His legacy will continue to shape the league for years to come. In recognition of his decades of service and contributions to community and country, Mark was recently awarded the King Charles III Coronation Medal. While he has chosen not to return as commissioner, Mark looks forward to staying close to the game with his grandsons JD and Brody taking the floor for the Mimico Mountaineers and continuing the family's lacrosse tradition. Mark now brings his strategic expertise to his latest venture, Red Zone Strategy, and can be reached at mark@redzonestrategy.ca. Congratulations to Mark Grimes on a great number of years as a commissioner. He really did bring it into the 21st century. And if you all remember, coming out of COVID with the mini season for 2 weeks of absolutely crazy stuff, that was the very first competitive lacrosse we'd seen in almost 2 years. And doing it without a hitch was spectacular. I've had him on the other show. I've been able, we're just talking off air, Shawn. The last time I was in a private box other than yesterday at BMO for an Argos game, Mark Grimes invited me up because of some of the articles I'd written about the league. And it was fun chatting with him and some of the other cohorts from Mimico and some other places in the booth there. And, what a great guy. And his passion for lacrosse is legit. He absolutely loves the game, and his family's been in it, and he's been in it as a coach and everything else. So he's brought this thing that it will be sustained beautifully for years and years to come. Same thing that what Scott Fox and Tom Bolesky are doing for Kufla. The guys with the big Rolodexes who are able to bring people who are outside of the sport into the sport play a big part in growing the sport because they have all the know-how in how to get it viewed outside of the lacrosse community, which is the only way, and I've been on a soapbox for years, which is the only way to grow the game. Because as long as we're keeping it amongst ourselves, we don't grow. We may get more knowledgeable, but we don't grow. So now we have this opportunity, and he has set the ball in motion for many, many years. So congratulations, Mark Grimes. Wish you all the success in everything that you're doing outside of lacrosse and for the rest of your days. We had a couple of weird ones. We had one OSL game and one MSL game canceled. And it was funny because with this game, the GM of Owen Sound even made a comment on there that maybe the league would like to be a little bit more transparent about these things. And both teams are ready to play. So why was it canceled? And my only thought was that they weren't able to get referees for it. Really, my only thought. Why else would it be? Yeah. If the teams are ready and you have an arena, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And Mike, when asked about comments, all the league had to say was, really, that's all the answers they get.
Yeah, both leagues seems like that.
Both leagues. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it didn't make any sense, but they're going to be rescheduled and played later in the summer, and just what we need is more late games in the summer. But so we were too lighter this week. But needless to say, we still had a very, very busy week, nonetheless. Alrighty. Why don't we start with some junior, Shawn? Sure. All of our PLL guys will be coming on in a little bit, but about 10 minutes or so, we're going to see Pat and Caden, I hope. And we'll deal with the PLL week that was. But for the time being, let's do some PGLL out west.
Yep, you better. We'll head out to the junior side of things. On Wednesday, actually, we had a tie Weyburn Razorbacks and Regina Chaos played to a 10-10 tie. Friday, you had the Swift Current Wolverines with a 14-5 win over the Regina Chaos. Saturday, you had the Prince Albert Predators with a 16-11 win over the Swift Current Wolverines, and a rough night for the Moose Jaw Mustangs. There should I say rough afternoon this afternoon for the Mustangs. They lost 19-3 to the Prince Albert Raiders. So their standings right now for the junior side of things, we have the PA Predators at 8-0-1. Second place, Moose Jaw Mustangs at 7-2. Swift Current Wolverines 5-7. The Saskatoon SWAT at 5-4-1. The Regina Chaos at 2-6-1. And then the Weyburn Razorbacks at 1-7-1. Moving over to the senior side, we had a game on Monday, actually. The Standing Buffalo Fighting Sioux with a 13-8 win over the Regina Heat. On Wednesday, you had the Saskatoon Brewers. They were a 14-7 winners over the Saskatoon SWAT. Saturday, we had the Standing Buffalo were winners 11-9 over the Saskatoon Brewers. Also on Saturday, the Heat were 16-10 winners over the SWAT. And then this afternoon, we had the Brewers defeated the Heat 8-6. And right now in progress, I was going to see if I get an updated score here. Just give me 1 second. The Fighting Sioux and the SWAT are in progress right now, and the score is... Oh, it might actually be a final here. Looks like it might be a final, actually. 12-11 for the Saskatoon SWAT.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Nice.
so the standings, if that holds true, then the SWAT, or the Standing Buffalo is now 4-1. The Saskatoon Brewers will now be 3-0. The Regina Heat are 1-4. And the Saskatoon SWAT are 0-3. And then heading to BC Junior A. A really good game to start off the week on Tuesday. Delta, they were actually up by 3 and in the third period, and against New Westminster. New Westminster scored a pair of goals early in the third, but just couldn't catch up. But so Delta came away with a 1-goal 9-8 win over Delta. On Wednesday, you had Langley. They were 15-8 winners over the Burnaby Lakers. Also on Wednesday, Delta defeated Coquitlam 14-4. Thursday, you had Nanaimo. They were 12-8 winners over Victoria. Then the other game on Thursday, a close one between Langley and Port Coquitlam, actually. Port Coquitlam was actually leading this game early in the second period, 7-2, when Langley scored 7 straight goals to take a 9-7 win, or 9-7 lead, sorry, and then exchanged a couple of goals. In the end, Langley came from behind to take the 10-9 win. Then Friday, another close game with Port Coquitlam, and this time another real crazy one. Delta came and they tied it up at 11:48. Then took the lead with an Ewan Patrick goal at 10:40 in the third. But then with 7 minutes and 28 seconds left, Daniel Mahoney scored to tie it up. And then with 1:37 left in the game, Josh Mills scored the game winner as Port Coquitlam came away with the 10-9 win. And then Saturday, we had Victoria, 13-7 wins over New Westminster. And, Delta with another win, 10-7 over Burnaby. And then we have earlier today, Coquitlam, the Adanacs, defeated Nanaimo 15-8. And currently in the second period, we have Victoria 4 and Langley 2. So that one's not quite over yet. And finally, Rocky Mountain Lacrosse Junior A in Alberta. You're gonna have to bear with me because the website is not updated once again. So we had Saturday night, the Mounties and Miners. Last score we have is 8-7, but still doesn't say that's a final, so I have no idea what the final score is. Also on Saturday, you had the Raiders defeated the SWAT 14-8, and actually that was 2 games in Saskatoon because this afternoon the Raiders took another win off the SWAT 13-3, and then again this afternoon the score I have here is 15-7 Mounties over the Miners, but that is not a final yet on their website.
Right. Got like a partial score, Stanford 29.
Yeah, you gotta love the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League in their website.
Yeah. By the way, that was fantastic. That Standing Buffalo Fighting Sioux came out beautifully.
Yep.
That is the
that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
All right. Just a couple of things in Ontario Series Lacrosse. Again, one of the games was canceled this weekend, but we did have 3 of them take place. The first one was Owen Sound facing the Ennismore James gang on Friday. And the gang played probably their most complete game of the season in this one. Jumped out to an early lead led by Nick DeLauro, who had 3 goals and 5 assists on the day. The James gang dictated the pace of this game. Although Jordan Cascanet was able to solve Riley Finn twice in the second, James gang still pressed forward, scoring 5 times in that period. Frank Coyle and Michael Blameyers had a pair each leading the way. Play got noticeably rougher in the third, which allowed Owen Sound to try and get back in the game. 3 goals, 2 on power plays had Owen Sound just 2 goals back. However, a pair of late goals from the James gang put the W in their column. Ennismore held on for the 9-5 victory. The next day, we had them facing off against each other which was the rematch. And, of course, Owen Sound came back in this one. Seesaw battle throughout the day had the teams continually get locked in ties. Ennismore jumped out to a 3-1 lead in the first, but 3 late goals in 1 minute and 1 second had the North Stars up by 1 at the break. Looked like Owen Sound was going to grab a hold of the game in the second, getting out to a 7-4 lead on strength of a power play goal and a shorthanded goal. The James gang fought back with 3 of their own. Ennismore scored 2 late period goals, followed by the tying goal coming early in the third. Third period was an exciting back and forth affair with Owen Sound jumping up by a pair midway through the period. But Michael Blameyers, who had 4 goals on the day, midway through pulled the James gang within 1. Rob Harris gave the North Stars a bit of breathing room, but again, Blameyers got Ennismore within 1, again with under 5 minutes remaining. Both teams poured on the pressure down the stretch, but the goaltending of Cole George and Gavin Clark was outstanding. Owen Sound was able to hold on for a slight 10-9 victory, so they split their 2-game series over the weekend. Hamilton and Collingwood just finished up, and Hamilton got off to a good start. They were up 3-0 after 1. The rest of the game was back and forth, and the teams split it up, scoring 6 each the rest of the way. So Hamilton got that early lead and coasted to the 9-6 victory. All right, that's it for OSL. Upcoming this week, we have Collingwood facing Hamilton on Sunday. Nope, that was today. Sorry. Friday, they have Collingwood facing Owen Sound at 8 p.m. out in Meaford. Saturday, Hamilton and Ennismore battle in Ennismore. Sunday, we have a bit of a busier day with the Rivermen and the James gang facing off against each other. And later that day, Hamilton and Owen Sound will face off against each other. And that's it for the games for next week. I've got Art's cast in here, and I'm going to bring him in. Welcome to Caden. And welcome to Mr. Pat, Mr. Water Dog. Good to have you guys here. Well,
Yogurt, good.
why before you hear, why not start this thing off immensely?
Yeah.
Well, wow.
It's just not.
Wow is all I can say.
Yeah, collective groan.
Yeah.
When 2-2 is the best score that we can do, oh boy. I thought it was going perfect again this week. And then the Atlas decided that they would pull up short. You're up 8-1. How do you lose? Watch the game, you'll see.
Man.
And then, of course, the Water Dogs disappointed me against Denver on the Sunday. And there was my week at 2-2. But sitting atop at 8-4, Pat is sitting in second, 5-7. And the rest of them are tied at 4-8 with a long way to go. Another week like this, and I think it's over, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
For my over week, it's coming. Don't you worry, it's coming.
That hurt. That was rough. That was rough.
Least rough as
yeah, pain, suffering. God.
Absolutely. All right, why don't we start off with Friday's game in Philadelphia and Boston? And you know what, Pat, I was very, very impressed with the Water Dogs. They took a real tough Cannons team to the woodshed for a good chunk of this game.
You know what, Gary, you're absolutely right. You know what? This was a tall order. This was a tall task for this Philadelphia Water Dogs. I would like to see how they were going to play against the team. And listen, they answered the bell. Again, Michael Sowers stepping up and putting up 5 assists. 5 assists. I mean, he played really well. Again, you're going to get contributions from guys contributing like Karen McCardle. He was going to score goals. Thomas McVeigh, he kind of stepped up. He was scoring goals. Again, this team played extremely well on Friday, and now they're showing you what they were supposed to be on paper last year. They show you got more than one scoring option. And again, what did Mike Sowers do on Friday night? He beat the Boston Cannons by his vision. He didn't have to do much. All he had to do is do his check down, did his reads, found who was open, and gave the ball to him. They don't shoot from the outside. They handle their business right down Broad Street. Everything down low, they'll handle.
Yeah, funny you mentioned that they don't shoot from outside because they were a team known the last couple of years for their 2-point goal prowess, and they have yet to score one in 3 games this season. So, if there is a small deficiency in their offense, it's where the heck did the 2-point goals go?
And you really don't
especially with someone like Connor Kelly, who was I think among the all-time leaders in PLL history in 2-point goals. So,
and that's the funny thing, Mike. They have guys who can shoot from the outside, but I don't know if it's the coach's play design, knowing that these guys can create so much havoc down low that these guys are able to hold their own and do some nasty things. Like even in yesterday's game, you look at Jack Hanna, and he just steamrolled over somebody and scored a goal. I mean, they don't have to do too much on the outside. Like I said, Mike Sowers picks apart any kind of defense by using his vision, surveying the field and finding his open teammates, looking for the mismatches. He does that a tremendous job at doing that. And then those guys like the Karen McCardles, the Tom McVeighs, the Jack Hannas, they handle all the dirty work.
Yeah, they definitely have a number of guys who are good inside, and I mean Jake Taylor is every single goal he's right on the doorstep. So he's definitely balling out in his rookie season here. But I mean that just it concerns me a bit that the whole deep threat has kind of seemingly gone away, and I would like to see personally some more 2-point attempts from Connor Kelly, from Ryland Reese. I'd like to see maybe even let Matt Witcher get a few rips in from behind the arc. I mean he's doing a great job in transition. I mean yeah, okay, he's a short stick, and he'd rather probably have a long pole taking that shot from behind the arc. But I think it showed in the second game, and I know we'll get to the second game in a little bit after the others. But I think the presence of transition or lack of transition is heavily dependent on a guy like Matt Witcher for the Water Dogs.
True, but and like I said, they still got the whole summer to go and find out, and make some other adjustments, and in due time, I can't see this Water Dog team sitting on their hands, not trying anything new. I mean, like I said, they create havoc down low, and like Karen McCardle was not really a scoring option this weekend, and you had Tom McVeigh and you had Jack Hanna being those guys who stepped up, and now if you look at the stats. The three of the guys I just mentioned are leading the PLL in scoring, and Mike Sowers, holds the most points right now at 14. He has 12 assists. He's leading that category. I mean, this team is clicking on all cylinders right now.
You talked about the 2-point goals that the Water Dogs have, so far not successfully capitalized on. They're coming in next week against the game against the Atlas, who have let in 2 2-point goals, one last night or one yesterday against Maryland, and one in week 1 when they faced Boston. So it's not, it's more ideal for Philly knowing that in 3 weeks it's a short weakness for the Atlas. Is that out of all these attempts, it's something that they have to continue to cover back on. Like, yes, everything else has only been 1-point goals, but you also look at situations like we'll talk about later where a 2-point goal will lead into a huge run for a team. So 1 2-point goal could just spell the end for New York shortly next week.
I agree, Caden. Yeah. Gosh, man, and like I said, I imagine Philly's going to have to try to dial something up during practice week and trying to like you said, trying to go for the juggler on that Atlas team. Try at least, like you said, at least try and get one guy to score from the outside.
You're also going to get a pissed off Atlas team.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One that had the victory and let it slide, and yeah. That being said.
Is Jeff T coming back this weekend?
Should be.
The one big worry I'm looking for, I need Danny Logan back because it was a clear weakness for us without Danny Logan. So hopefully he can come back for this matchup against Philly, but we'll see as time winds down.
That to me is the ultimate Philly killer is Jeff T. I've seen that guy torment personally live. I've seen that guy rip their hearts out of their chest. I mean, that guy is a wrecking ball. I want no parts of Jeff T. Just look, tell him to ice up for another week. I want no parts of Jeff T right now. Okay, that dude's a monster. Keep me away from him.
You might not want anything to do with Jeff T, but Jeff T wants everything to do with Philly.
I know.
Yeah.
Especially after 1 point last week.
Oh,
this week.
Oh, yeah.
The belt's coming off. The belt is going to come. Yeah, this is what I'm scared of.
Well, I know we'll get into the Atlas, my thoughts about that, but just with the rough performance specifically from Jeff T on the scoring front, it's going to be an interesting and a very fun look towards next week's matchup, especially with it being the first matchup of the PLL weekend in Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great way to start off. A pissed off Atlas team against so far the best team in PLL.
Keyword so far. Like I said, I don't want nothing to do with Jeff T, especially him being pissed off with the way that this New York has fell down this past weekend. Yeah, Yeah, I could see him taking the belt off and taking this Philly team to the woodshed. I've seen it live. I've seen him do it to the Wings. He's done that. He's done magical work. All real the things he could do. I'm like, I don't want no piece of that guy. No
He's
more.
done that to a lot of teams. He's
Yeah,
done that to a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of teams.
I throw in the white towel in. I don't want no piece of Jets heat. I don't want him taking me to the woodshed. No. That is trouble coming to Philly.
Great, and it's great to see him continuing the domination that he does from the NLL to the PLL, and then he's gonna go right back to it.
Right, what a smooth transition. I mean, from the box game, outside game, and he is just an all-around killer. He's like a thriller, man. He's nasty. Whew.
Yep. And he's been that way all the way through his career, junior included.
Yep.
It's frightening how good he is and how calm he is.
Yeah, I mean, right, Gary. He stays cool, calm, and collected through the box game, outdoor game. Just whenever he's on the floor, you need to keep your eyes peeled on that man, because if you don't, and if you may have one little slip up, and that's what I'm scared of, I could see New York dialing up some kind of, screens, the pick and rolls kind of a deal, and that man just letting loose from the 2-pointer down low and creating havoc. Jeff T is no laughing matter. He's not, and he's going to be a tough customer, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Definitely. All right, let's move on to the next one. And of course, that was California against Utah. And one of us had this game correct.
Yeah. Quiet you.
There are many weeks that I'm going to be eating crow, and this one isn't one, so I'm going to enjoy it.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, we talked off air. One of us was a little miffed at one Quint Kesenich's power rankings, putting California at 6th out of 8 teams, and saying that the only reason they were 2-0 is because they played the 2 worst teams in the league, which explained to me how the league has been promoting one Denver Outlaws team with 4 Tewaaraton award winners as the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
This is the first I'm hearing of this. Wait, hold on. Whoa. California just dominates in the first 2 games for them, and they just not the best. I don't get it.
Welcome to our world.
Quint had him ranked 6. Hey, look, Quint got a little validation here. Our Archers do win 12-11. Personally, I saw it. Hey, this was a chance for Redwoods, not only to be 3-0, but to have all 3 wins be against in-conference opponents, which no other team started their schedule with 3 straight in-conference games. So that, to me, that would have, had they won, they'd definitely be number 1, and they should be number 1 in everyone's power rankings. But Archers, they do get away with a 12-11 win. The big performers for Archers were Tom Schreiber, 3 goals, 2 assists. Matt Moore had a hat trick. Sam King, a 1-point goal and a 2-point goal, and the 2-point goal was pretty pivotal. Came kind of off an out of bounds play and sort of a reset, and pretty much caught the defense napping on the restart, and fired in that 2-point goal that gave him a lead, pretty much for good. They got a goal each out of Mac O'Keefe and Cam Wires, who just came back to the team. Brett Dobson, 12 saves on the night. Not his best performance, but we do know that he's injured. He did become the 3rd fastest goaltender in PLL history to get 400 career saves, doing it in 28 games. For Redwoods, Dylan Malloy, pair of goals, pair of assists. Sam Hanley had a goal and a 2-point goal. T.D. Erlin and Charlie Bertrand each had a goal and an assist. Chase Erlin had 13 saves in the loss. Redwoods also got goals from Ryder Garnsey, Chris Kavanaugh, Andrew McAdory, and Josh Balkersell. So the rookies are still performing, still putting up numbers. So if they can remain consistent all year, this Redwoods team is going to be a contender. At the dot, you had TD Erlin and Mike Sisselberger pretty much dueling to a draw. Erlin was 12 of 21, Sisselberger 10 of 22. Each of them had a goal. Erlin 5 ground balls, Sisselberger 7. But Archers do bounce back, and actually they are, with the win, they are atop the West Conference now, tied with California. Obviously, they have the head-to-head edge at the moment, but they will rematch, I believe, 2 weeks from now, maybe in California's homecoming weekend. I'll have to check on that.
I gotta say that Charlie Bertrand, you mentioned Charlie Bertrand scoring. I actually went to school with Charlie. He graduated Merrimack College, went to Virginia in his alumni year. So big shout out to Charlie Bertrand. Shout out to Merrimack. But when we were going into this NLL season, my whole look was at the game against Vegas for Albany, and then he announced his retirement from the NLL, and that kind of broke me because I was so excited to actually see him play in the box and actually finally see him in person, watching him. But seeing him continue his success still in the PLL is amazing. I'm so incredibly happy for him just to continue to see him dominate and continue. I mean, obviously he played for Team USA this past off season when they went to Worlds, when they went to the World Tournament. So I'm consistently happy to see Charlie Bertrand continuing that.
And Mike, that rematch happens July 25th.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's a ways
over
out.
Salt Lake City.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, Caden, while we got you chatting, you can explain to me.
Can he though? Can anyone explain?
Okay. Let's start with this. Atlas lose 16-12 to the Whip Snakes, which was tough, really tough. And I'll start with leaders. It was Connor Schellenberger leading the way for the Atlas, 7 points, 3 goals, 4 assists, while it was TJ Malone for the Whip Snakes. He had 5 points, 3 goals, 2 assists. On the face-offs, it was relatively close, kind of the same way with the Utah-California game. It was Nardella taking it 16-29 over Trevor, but Trevor went for 30 face-offs while Joe only did the 29. Trevor went 14 for 30. As for goaltending, Luke Entenman made 17 saves while Krebs made 12. So it was very even. But then you look at the scoring breakdown of this, and the Atlas go 5 up in the first quarter, and they quickly go on a 6-goal run. It's a 6-goal run leading into the second quarter, quickly interrupted by a goal from Heacock. But then shortly after, and I mean, it felt like seconds after, Brett McCarr lets what felt like a piss missile from right outside the 2-point zone with that long stick. And it was amazing. And
the goalie's reaction was even more amazing.
Yeah.
Because he was stunned. He couldn't believe it went in.
I was stunned. How my favorite thing is, and it's with all sports, is watching these guys get these what seem like impossible shots. And even with baseball, these heavy swings, these heavy shots with seemingly impossible objects. Because a long stick mid making that shot from right outside is huge. And that's what the Atlas need to continue to do. That was one of the bright spots for them. There was a beautiful goal from, I want to say it was Rayner, the Penn State native. It was the Penn State native for the Atlas with the fans in the building for him. What a beautiful goal behind the back. which, I'm going to be biased, but early goal of the year, I love that. Love to see that. And then Whipsnakes fight back in the second quarter. They keep it close. Then you go into the third. And the third is where, the second half in the third quarter, but this is where it just went in a straight shot downhill. Straight leading shot downhill. 9 goals in the first half for the Atlas, leading into 3 goals in the second half. You're not going to win scoring 3 goals in the second half. They had 1 goal in the third quarter from Schellenberger and 2 in the fourth quarter, 1 from Schellenberger, 1 from Dixon. Xander Dixon was the other big scorer for the Atlas in that game, 4 goals. So, I mean, the offense is there. Without Teat scoring, the offense is seemingly there. But the defense now is just poof fairy dust.
Well,
an 8-goal run from the Whipsnakes to win that.
I was about to ask, like, how do you give up like a 2-pointer in 6 straight?
I want to know that. That's so demoralizing. And like I know we were talking out, and I had a lot to say, and it just without Danny Logan, it's clear as day. You win the first game against Carolina, only by 2, but you still get it. And then the last 2 games you play, nothing. No wins. A loss to a team you should have beaten, and a close one against Boston where Logan did go out in the game. But in my opinion, they should have beaten the Whipsnakes, but they clearly didn't show it on the field.
This second half is a bit concerning, though. This is on those. What's with your teams and these long collapses? We have Albany. We have Albany and the Dane Dobie factor. Now we have this. You're taking me down with you being an Atlas fan. Now, come on now.
Do I just need to coin the term second half of horrors now so they don't fall back on it? I coined it halfway through the season in the NLL, and Albany decides to say, you know what? Let's not be bad in the second half, and they weren't. Okay, you know what? I'm coining it. Second half of hell. New York, do better next week. I love you guys. You got Philly next week. It's gonna be like we were saying at the start of the Philly. It's gonna be an angry Atlas team, more specifically, an angry Jeff Teat.
What's on the line here, boys? Cheesesteaks or what? Caden?
Chicken parm. Chicken cutlet? I don't know. Something.
Yeah. And thanks, because I just had a cheesesteak the other day, too. So, of course, for my fat rear end needs any more cheesesteak.
We'll make the bet right now. If New York wins, you send me a cheesesteak. And if the Atlas if the Atlas lose, I'll send you a chicken parm. It's a fair deal.
It's a fair deal.
Canada Post it may never get there.
Yeah.
I'll drive it down. I'll drive it I'll hand deliver it. Might be a little cold, but I'll hand deliver it.
Leave it on the tailpipe, Pat. It'll stay warm.
Yeah.
There you go. My next Uber driver. Listen.
I better be getting a good tip for that Uber drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would certainly be an Uber Eats delectable.
Yeah. Oh man.
Wow. Well, we got another Water Dogs game to discuss, and this one hurt me.
Oh man,
I don't know about you, but it hurt me.
No, guys.
Big Denver. He picked against his team and got it right.
Yeah, I figured fatigue was going to settle in with this team after putting away. I knew they were going to spill the beans against Boston. I just figured, you know what, this is going to be a game where they're going to. I pretty much looked at it as a scheduled loss because the fact that fatigue was going to kick in, these guys are going to be tired. Like I said, giving their best effort against Boston, which is really no excuse because they jumped on Denver with a 3-0 start, but. Again, what I say last week, Pat Kavanaugh knows how to find glory in Philly, and this guy puts up a hat trick with an assist. I mean, this kid shot a wrist lock, shot a rocket from the outside. I mean, he does things. it's amazing. Like he could do spin moves and shoots off his back foot in double coverages. He's finding guys open. I mean, Pat Kavanaugh came to play yesterday, and man, he just, like I said, Pat Kavanaugh knows how to find glory in Philly, and boy, hat trick. I mean, this dude was just an absolute beast out there on the field yesterday.
You know, I just talked about how if the Atlas want to win games, they're not going to do it scoring 3 goals in the second half. Well, these two teams combined for 3 goals in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy to see these low scoring games, and I have to agree with Pat. I was with Philly. I was barking with the dogs in Philly. I was trying to bark with the dogs in Philly. I didn't think they were going to take it against Boston, but I thought that the angry set against Boston was going to lead them to a win against Denver, and obviously it was the other way around. So
Pat, my question to you is, who let the dogs out?
Oh, well, my question is who put them back on the leash, because that was the big problem. Because
apparently it was Pat Kavanaugh.
Yeah, right.
Pat Kavanaugh's one who he took him for a walk.
Pat Kavanaugh put him back in the shelter. I mean, geez, he definitely dog walked everybody on that squad. Like I said, they tried to defend him, and he was just running circles around them on yesterday. I mean, like I said, putting up a hat trick. I mean, shooting wrist lock, shooting wrist rockets. I mean, this dude was just cooking them. But as bad as it was, the Philly only lost by 2. And again, where Tom McVoy stepped on Friday, this was the Jack Hanna game. And Jack Hanna, like I said, Bundy Jr. was trying to defend him in a one-on-one situation, and he just steamrolled him. He just ran him over his shoulder first, right into his chest, and then just finds the back of the net. I mean, that was probably the play of the night. Again, sensational work right there. But again, just coming up short. And like I mentioned, and just Pat Kavanaugh, just a tough customer, just knows how to win here in Philly. And I'll tell you what, Mike, you're asking me, Mike, when I'll ever get a Water Dogs jersey or a Wings jersey. If Pat Kavanaugh, since I covering this kid for the last 2 years, if he comes to Philly, you better lock, stock, and barrel. I'll get one of those things.
That brings me to this week's PLL goal of the week, and I think I got a good one for you guys. So here we are.
From X. Jared Bernhardt turns and scores on the question mark. Welcome to the PLL, Jared Bernhardt. His first professional goal.
His brother, Jesse, mentioned this in the open. The athleticism, we saw it last week. So it's just a matter of his shooting form getting back intact. Clearly it didn't take all that long on a short stick. Little hesitation move that he carries up, and the question mark. He generated 5 shots last week. He was able to win his matchup fairly consistently, and there DeLuca just comes a hair off of this near pipe, this angle. Well, Witcher kind of got in the way there, but
Yep, and of course that clip's brought to you by ESPN and PLL, and we thank them for it. But what an athletic goal that was!
Great way to create separation.
Great way to
switch hands like that, like to switch hands and turn like that, unbelievable.
And to do it all in midair and find the short side, in which he gave you about 3 inches. He moved just slightly, and that was all he needed.
And if you saw the play before, Burkhart did the same thing, just with an assist. And he was in double coverage too. I mean, he was getting locked down, and he made the same kind of play just to find someone wide open down low. I mean, that play was just amazing to watch.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but back to this game though, Gary. Again, like I said, Philly jumped off to a hot start. Then, like I said, fatigue kind of settled in from playing against Boston, the night before, and then you had this, and plus Denver it's Denver's desperate measures, right? They need this win. They were going to come out gun blazing. Their back is up against the wall right now, so they had to come out like the danger animal. They had no other choice, because if they would have lost, again, you're looking at an 0-3 mark now, and we only have the summer to get things right. So now that win right there, kind of in a small sample size, kind of saved their season.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I would say again for Philly, not just the fatigue, but I think the transition kind of failed them in this game.
Yeah.
Especially with the way, I noticed the broadcasting crew was making note of some of the substitutions Denver was making were really, really slow. They had guys like Ryan Terefenko, like Bundy, running the whole length of the field, working from offense to defense. And just substitutions were slow. And I felt like at the end of the game, Philly just wasn't taking advantage of that.
Right.
When they had the chance to get out on breaks, they weren't just, firing away and getting the lead guy the ball on a break. Why they would pull up and kind of, get into a normal set, I don't know. But I think it kind of cost them in the second half.
And it did, Mike.
And I mean, that's attributable to the fatigue too, but again, it also goes to show just how important, going back to Caden's comment about Atlas needing Danny Logan, how important are these short stick D middies to every single team? A guy like Terefenko to the Outlaws, Witcher for the Water Dogs, Logan for the Atlas, and every single team has a guy like that needs to be pretty much on their A game every game,
right,
to help propel their team.
I love to make my comparisons back to my boys, but it's a short time. Let's hope Danny Logan comes back quick. But let's not remember 2 years ago with the Firewolves, Nardella goes down and it just kind of falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
With that short stick mid, if they lose Logan for long term, it's just going to fall apart because as of right now, it seems like they don't have the replacement right there to cover up for him as the past 2 games it shows.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And how about this one, though? How about this stat? How about the Rookie of the Year? Well, candidate for the Rookie of the Year, Brian O'Neill putting the nail in the coffin, so to speak, for the Outlaws on Philly. Like, that hurt me watching that goal go in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Looking
That's
at
my
the standings
strength.
at this stage, though, talk about parity, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is right down the middle.
I mean, and again, this easily could have been. We could have seen Maryland at 0-3. We could have seen California at 3-0. We could have seen Philly at 3-0. We could have seen Denver at 0-3.
Could have seen Atlas at 2-1 instead of 1-2.
Yeah,
Utah
at 1-2.
Could have seen Boston at 3-0.
Philadelphia could have been 3-0 as well. But we have a very, very even league at the moment. And even with the differentials, nothing is overly insane.
Yeah, no double digits or anything. Remember again, well, what did Philly have last year? I think Philly finished 2-8, 3-7 or something like that. Again,
2-8.
5 1-goal losses, 3 in overtime, and I think their goal differential was still
about 12.
It wasn't high.
Yeah. I mean, it was negative, but it wasn't. I mean, it was barely double digits, I think.
Right.
So in the negative.
And I mean, it just goes to show that how important these games are for the non-homecoming teams. That you get those homecoming teams, you get those 2 games, so they can kind of afford a loss on a Friday. While you're gonna start seeing teams like the Atlas, like Philly, just teams who are only getting in those one games a week now, who aren't going to see those double chances. It's going to be really hard for them to take a loss.
Yeah, and every homecoming team is 1-1 so far this year.
Yeah,
on their homecoming.
Wow, that's very odd.
No one has swept, and no one's been swept. It's been split so far the first 3 weeks, so we'll see what
See
Wood
if that
States can
holds
bring
up.
next week.
Next week it's in Baltimore. And again, we talked about Atlas playing Philadelphia. Boston is playing Maryland, and of course, I would say Maryland has to put it to the floor here, because if they go down 1-3 and Boston goes up 3-1, this is a tough one. It's a big climb.
Did it last week. I will do it this week again. Said it's going to be a thing for the PLL. Players should look out for the Philly Atlas game.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about 2-point goals. We were talking about that with the start of this. I'm going to be looking at Connor Kelly for Philly. I expect him to pick up a 2-point goal this week. But I'm also looking at Brett McCarr. After that rocket from the outside, I want to see more. I want to see more from that long stick. So I'm going to go with Brett McCarr and Connor Kelly. And it's coincidental that the Atlas will be coming with vengeance, not only after losing, but they're also coming to tie this series against Philly. Philly leads the series between the two teams 2-1, with the last game happening on August 17th. August 17th, where the Water Dogs won 13-12.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a little bit of vengeance.
Well, same. And the way I view it too there, Caden, when I look at this game, I look at the matchup again, my eyes look out for, obviously, Jeff Teat. You're going to have to keep your eyes peeled on him. I don't care if that guy has to take a bathroom break. You better follow that guy. You make sure you stick him at all costs. I don't care. I mean, do not let that man find any kind of spacing on that floor, because if you do, he will make you pay the piper. You got to keep your eyes on him. Another person that knows Philadelphia quite well and just knows how to play it. And Trevor Patisse, him at the faceoff circle, still a tough customer there. You're going to have to keep your eyes on that. I mean, there's so many obstacles now that you're going to have to go for. I think New York Atlas's training is going to be this week, driving your car with no brakes, because you cannot do what you did last week and pump the brakes for Maryland to try and play catch up. They have to put full gas to the pedal, full throttle, and full gas, no brakes, full gas, no brakes. And I think that's going to be the major practice of the week for the New York Atlas. Do not do what you did last week, or somebody's going to be hitting some bench down. That's for sure. So again, Philly needs to keep their eyes on Jeff Teat. Like I said, I don't care if that guy's got to go to the bathroom. I don't care if he needs to have meeting with his family. You follow him all over that field. Okay, that guy causes out by pain and punishment. Please, I don't want no more agony from that guy. Follow him.
Right. Now we have on the next night we have Utah versus Denver, and Carolina versus Maryland. Again, both big games where it looks at in the standings there.
Pat, I want to go back to you mentioning Baptiste. It's going to be a really good face-off matchup between Baptiste and Stathakis. So it's going to be another close matchup there. I mean, he went over 50% in his 2 matchups over the weekend. So it's going to be another good one. Last week Baptiste Nardella, this week Baptiste and Stathakis.
Yeah, I mean, that faceoff ballot's going to be split down the line. It's just going to be who's got the more firepower. Philly seems like they got 3 guys who are 3 options they could go with. But like I said, Jeff T could be a one-man wrecking crew, and that's going to scare a lot of Water Dogs. They might put them back. They might go run back into their shelters. I know I'll be in my shelter.
Last week it was Kavanaugh who put him in the shelter. This week it'll be Jeff T.
For sure. No dog treats. No dog treats.
Nice. All righty. That is the week that was in PLL. And, except for a couple of the scores there, it again, doesn't disappoint. Absolutely entertaining game, start to finish. As you can tell by our looks, anybody can pull out anything at any game.
Listen, all I'm going to say is I think it's more impressive to go 0-4 than 4-0. How could you be as wrong as you could be right?
You're so wrong, kid.
I'm Pat. 4? That's impressive.
Yeah, I'm
Once
guilty.
is a fluke, twice is a talent.
Guilty as charged. I saw a Philadelphia Wings team start with a hot start. I'm thinking they're going to make the playoffs. And then the train came off the track, and then it just went boom. So, yeah, I'd rather start out slow and then get it hot, then start out hot, and then go cold. So, yes, I understand what you guys are saying here.
Well, my going cold in the NLL is what allowed you to time me.
Yeah.
But this time around, we're going to keep it going.
Yeah, yeah.
My own force coming going, guys. I am more than ready for it. I am ready for it. I have done too well in the last 3 weeks. I think last year it took me 7 weeks to get this. So I'm ready for it. It's going to happen. There's no way I can continue this this trend.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to say that going 2-2 is like a trend. But,
Right.
recently,
It is the trend.
it's a trend now.
The trend is either go even or get every game wrong.
Well, we've discussed your 3 weeks now, haven't we?
Well, that's like I said. I picked the Wings to win, and I picked them to lose. I knew they were going to collapse. I just had a feeling that they were going to, fatigue was going to settle in, and they were going to be up to par. And this is where Denver took full advantage of it. Denver was playing with desperate measures. Pat Cavanaugh knows how to find glory in Philly, and puts up a hat trick, gets an assist, and all else fails for the Water Dogs.
And now we start having to look at injury reports because every week we got more and more guys going down. And that's going to change the outcomes of these things too, regardless how talented they look on paper. So just putting that out there.
Yep. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So looking forward to seeing you all next week
Yes.
with the next version of what in the hell happened there.
Especially next week since it's brawl. It's a brawl between me and Pat.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's on and it's on prime time too. ESPN 4 o'clock.
And the
Look at
first
you.
game of the weekend. Like,
Man.
there's
Nothing like
literally
setting the pace.
nothing
No,
else you could ask for.
Nothing. Listen, it's Philly versus New York all weekends. Phillies and Mets at the same time slot, and you got Water Dogs and Atlas. Why get off the couch? What I'm
You
saying.
can't.
I don't want to talk about the Phillies now. My God, what a miserable weekend that was.
I don't want to talk about the Yankees.
But then
I
again,
will
you know
talk
what? They
about Denver's was just great.
Philadelphia had to save face from their extreme trip here into Toronto.
Oh yeah.
I'd put that needle as almost even, but yeah, if there's a time for the Jays to look like, well,
Yeah.
they came back to earth, all right. They came back to
Reality
earth with a
check.
Scud missile. Boom. But boy, oh boy, I tell you, between the Argos and the Jays, the city doesn't even think about the Leafs.
I know someone
man.
who's not thinking about Toronto anymore, and that's Mitch Marner. He's going to be sitting up in.
Oh,
oh.
Who is this Marner you're talking about?
foregone conclusion incoming.
Conclusion.
Yeah.
Here in sunny
Leafs fans
Carolina.
are saying the same things during the playoffs.
I'm
He's
just,
a smart guy.
I was
He never
just
showed up.
with his Toronto Rock mask that he was wearing for Peterborough. Gee, do you think he's coming back? Nah.
Yeah.
Nah. The general manager of track. Yeah, no, I know. So strike that off your list of draft needs for the first round. Goalie's taken care of. So that being said, guys, thank you very much as always. Fantastic coverage, fantastic articles. If you need to read them all, they're on our websites and they are on all the Lacrosse pages, including All Lacrosse All the Time, and as well as all the affiliates. So please give them a read and get up to date with everything that you need to know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm excited. Again, 4 o'clock, Philly, New York. That's the way you kick off the the PLL schedule. Again, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think even that dope Mike Lowry, you can check it out. and he can't even spell lacrosse.
You know, we're going to be looking at a really fun week for the Whip Snakes homecoming in Baltimore. You know, Atlas Water Dogs. Then you have Boston, Maryland, leading into a Utah, Denver, which is going to be a fun one, I think. Denver coming out for another type of vengeance, and then ending it with Carolina, Maryland, which both teams desperate for a win. You know, it's going to be tough for Maryland to come out against Boston with the win, but Carolina is the one where I can see them coming back hard and fast.
Question for you, Caden. If New York falls through this deja vu, hot start, gets cold, gets tired, runs out of gas, the same kind of result, what kind of questions are you going to have for this team moving forward?
Well, the one thing is that I've already mentioned is the short stick mid, is that without Danny Logan, that the whole question is short stick mid, who will we have at short stick mid? But then it comes down to defense, because the defense at the end, like Shawn, you were talking about a two goal play leading into a 6-goal run. Like that cannot happen at the end of the game.
That shouldn't happen. No,
it
should not happen.
That is a situation where you're asking, where is my defense? Where are my long sticks? Where are my short? Where did they just fall off the face of the earth? Did Thanos just snap halfway through the game and we lost all of our defense? That's where it comes down to. And I know I talked last week about the offensive inability that this team seemingly had. It seems to be gone. You know, a hat trick from Schellenberger, 4 goals from Dixon, coming into a revenge game in their minds against Philadelphia, which will only revitalize Jeff T. At least we hope it'll revitalize Jeff T. I really don't like. Do you look at Entenmann? Do you look at the coaching staff? I mean, they just picked up a new defensive coordinator in the offseason. I don't think it goes from I don't think it goes from the coaching staff, but I agree, Pat. Where do you look if they go off here? They win 3 straight. They win 4 straight. They start to go off. Then what happens from there?
And it's a crazy too, because like I don't want to give too much downplay on Enderman, because I know he's a puppy between the pipes, but this is a sink or swim kind of business too. So I mean, again, I watched him through his college ranks. I've seen him win again, another one. Saw him win a couple championships here, but this is a whole different beast you're dealing with the PLL. So and I just hope he doesn't fall short and really coughs this up here.
You know, especially with it being 4-game weekends, like you really cannot afford that. Like you have to be on top of your game. And like we were talking about with the homecoming teams going 1-1, like it's they need to be consistent. Like if Maryland, you'd hope to come out of this 2-0. Like New York wanted to come out 2-0, but none of these teams are, and it's not going to happen this week, I think. It's a continuation of what feels like mediocrity from these homecoming teams on their homecoming weekends, at least. And it just shortly continues because they lose to Boston. They win against Carolina, and then they just lose to Maryland. So after their homecoming week going 1-1, they lose. Let's hope that they can pick up the pace.
I agree.
Super. All right. Thank you, guys. And we will check you out next week. Appreciate you to both Pat and Caden. Thank you very much, guys.
See you guys. Have a good one.
See you guys.
All righty. That'll bring us over to MSL, Major Series Lacrosse this week. And some great games this week, guys. Some just absolutely slobber knocker games. Our first one was back on Monday, and it was Coburg coming in and facing Oakville. Now, Oakville's had a few problems this year in what's more or less a rebuild. But, wow, what a game this was. Kostiuk came out on a mission in this game. They jumped out to a 5-1 lead in the first. Oakville, on the strength of a couple of Thai English goals, fought their way back, and it was 5-3 after one. Second period, Oakville take more of a controlling aspect. Josh Tawek led the charge with a pair of goals and 1 assist in the period. By the end of it all, it was 7-7. Rock continued to plow forward in the third. They started quickly. Thai English, followed by Tyler Hendricks and Josh Tawek, staked Oakville to a 3-goal lead, but goals from Jake Harrington, Alex Marinier, and Brock Haley tied this game up down the stretch. Regulation solved nothing, and off to overtime they went. In overtime, Matt Marinier was the hero for Coburg, scoring at the 2-minute mark, giving the Kodiaks the 11-10 victory. Just an absolute fantastic game, and up and back, and every time you thought one team had it, the other team came back, and it was like that all night long. And I tell you, Josh Tawek with the C, he looks like a natural. So it won't be long before you start seeing him wearing a C with the big boy club, with the Rock, Toronto. So once Challen decides it's time to do other things, since Challen is doing some coaching now, so you see where his next step in all this is. The next night, Owen Sound faced Six Nations. Now, this was an interesting game because the first period looked like this was going to be a really low-scoring event. A spirited period played by Owen Sound kept Six Nations machined only a pair of goals, and both Andrew Kidd and Warren Hill just set the stage with some great saves throughout the period. 2-1 after one. The roof fell in the second. The Chiefs ramped up their pressure, making much more of an impact. Josh Byrne, Ryan Smith, and Cody Jamieson led the way for the Chiefs. Chiefs special teams came to life in that period as well. Six Nations took an 11-3 lead heading into the third period. 9 goals in the second. Anybody going to be beating these guys anytime soon? Can't see that happening.
Yeah.
While the scoring wasn't as fluid in the third, the intensity kept increasing. A number of scrums saw the penalty minutes for both teams increase. Ryan Smith continued his hot night with 2 more goals, giving him 5 on the night. And Six Nations won convincingly, 14-5. Something that looked like it was a defensive struggle turned into a very, very ugly event. But hey, it happens. Speaking of ugly events, we go the next night and we walk over into Whitby and the Brooklyn LC, and they hosted Oakville. Now, after the great game they played against Coburg, I guess that was it for the great games they're playing this week. Connor Kiernan and Chris Bougie both had 4 goals each in this game to lead Brooklyn to a convincing 13-5 victory over Oakville. Zach Higgins, I'm sorry Pat isn't still here.
Pat, yeah.
Zach Higgins is back with Brooklyn and started in this game. And he made 48 saves in the victory. Ty English with a pair of goals for Oakville. Ty Argent with a goal and an assist, and Tyler Hendricks with a goal and assist were the bright spots for Oakville, who altogether fired 53 shots on the Brooklyn net. Landon Kells had a good night in the Oakville net, stopping 41 of 54 Brooklyn shots. What can I say? Brooklyn with the right combination of players, and they have a number of guys who sit in when other guys are getting rest. But with the right combination, can beat anybody in this league. Might even be able to beat Six Nations. But it has to be the correct chemistry of guys. Very fickle bunch. Here's the interesting one for the week. Peterborough went into Brampton. Now, if you remember a week ago, Peterborough barely escaped in Peterborough with a 6-5 victory over the Excelsiors. This one was almost as crazy. Let me just pull this up for a sec. Special teams had much to do with the result in this game. Brampton's power play, which went 4 for 9, staked them to an early 3-0 lead. Peterborough's power play came to life late in the game to tie it and then win in overtime. Peterborough won this game 10-9 in overtime. Joe Resiteras being the hero, but we'll get to that in a second. With this was the most complete game that Brampton put together this season. The need to play all 60 minutes was apparent as the Lakers made their comeback late in the third period. Joe Resiteras, who had 3 goals and an assist, led Peterborough with 2 goals in the third and the game winner in overtime. Finley Thompson and Coltrane Tyson led the way for Brampton with a pair of goals each. Again, the Excelsior's transition game kept their opponent off balance, but just wasn't able to get over the hump in this one. Peterborough again edges Brampton 10-9 in overtime. So is Brampton close to being a good team? Yes. They're a player or so away, preferably an offensive player who can score consistently. But boy, oh boy, that team has given Peterborough fits this year. And not to be outdone, Oakville kept playing this week. And they just finished up in Coburg tonight. And, Oakville came away with an 8-5 victory, which makes up for the 2 losses to Coburg last week and the beginning of this week. Looking at the game, Oakville got off to a quick start with Luke Robinson scoring just a couple of minutes in. Aaron Woods tied it up for the Kodiaks. However, Oakville put together a really great 3 minutes to end the first period. Luke Robinson, Zane Delp, and Chris Weir in transition scored, and this was a 4-1 Oakville lead after 1. Aaron Woods got a goal to start the second period for the Kodiaks just 26 seconds in, but Carson Moyer answered back off a Chris Weir pass. Curtis Romanchitz and Alex Marinier both scored shorthanded goals, bringing this game a lot closer than it needed to be. But Ty English with a late goal in the second, and Oakville was up 6-4 heading into the third. The third period was more of a goaltender duel. And, you had Landon Kells, who looked really good in Oakville's net against Jackson Brown over in Coburg. And they made save after save after save. Carson Moyer was able to beat Jackson Brown, opening up a little bit bigger of a lead. Brock Haley got that one back, but Jack McAlpine at about the halfway point of the period got the goal to put Oakville up 8-5. And from then on, the goalies were stifling, and they gave up nothing the rest of the game. Shots on goal in this game, Oakville outshot Coburg 51-50. Great game by the goaltenders. Looking up at our standings, Peterborough and Six Nations are still tied atop at 6-1 each. Brooklyn at 5-2, Coburg at 3-5, Owen Sound at 2-4, Oakville at 2-5, and Brampton at a very, very questioning 0-6. Easily could be 3-3 in my eyes, and 2 wins against Peterborough. So I wouldn't be saying that blow this thing up in Brampton. I think they're just starting to get something really great, and they're all young kids, and they're learning how to do this together. So look out for Brampton in the next few years if he can keep this. If he can keep this thing together, I think that they're going to have something really big down the road. So, and remember, they're the ones who aren't paying their players. So, guys are in there just for glory to the city that got them going. So, kudos to Dan Teat and the team he's put together. And if their offense comes to life at all, this team will be heard heading into the playoffs down the road a bit. I believe, hey guys, we are just about at the halfway point.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. It's gone by like this. And for me too, I think I've just passed the 60th recap. Not bad. Not bad. The best is yet to come though, right? Upcoming this
Good.
week, we have Peterborough into Oakville tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. You might want to get there and watch that. This will be great at the track. 7:30 start. Tuesday, Coburg heads into Six Nations. Owen Sound heads over to Brooklyn on Wednesday. Brooklyn then heads into Peterborough on Thursday, while Six Nations heads over to Brampton. Remember, is that the day? Is that the big game? Or is that July? July 19th. Sorry. Got ahead of myself. Everything aligned, didn't it? June 19th, Six Nations in Brampton.
Yep.
You think maybe the sign them? Anyways, Six Nations faces Brampton in Brampton. I should be at that game, barring any more phone trouble. It was a weird week, guys. Weird week. Phone playing games, other things playing games. Thursday was a strange day. StreamYard giving us trouble. It's wild. Saturday, Brampton heads into Owen Sound for a tilt over there. That's going to be a great game because there you got two good transition teams against each other with two solid defenses and not a whole lot of offense. So this might very well be a 2-1 game. Might be a 1-0 game in overtime. You want to catch it. It's a long drive to Meaford, though. And on Sunday nights, Brooklyn faces Coburg at the Coburg Community Center. Remember, bring a sweater and a jacket. It's a little cool in there. Beers are cold, though. Don't worry. There's frost on the glass. And that is the week that was over in Major Series Lacrosse. Why don't we take away with some craziness over in the WLA? And they never seem to disappoint, don't they?
Never, ever. Why would they?
Again, we're talking transparency of the leagues. And, of course, the answer when we ask is simply... so true.
Yeah.
All righty, let's get her rolling here, guys.
Yeah, I guess we'll address that first.
Yeah.
So it appears all of a sudden, out of nowhere, that the game from earlier in the season where Burnaby beat Coquitlam 7-6, but then had to forfeit the game for using an ineligible player. Originally, both teams were given a loss and no points were awarded. And now all of a sudden, things have changed and Coquitlam has been awarded a win. I don't know that they've been awarded points. Just check the standings
I
here.
got the standings
Doesn't make
right
much
here,
sense
Mike.
if you had a win with no
Yes. Yep. They got the points as well with the win.
They got the points as well. So that's
Yeah,
interesting.
They're 5-1-1 with 11 points.
11
so yeah.
points,
Well, the
yeah.
take simply is that they came to the consensus that both teams shouldn't be penalized. Only one team had the player that was not on the lineup. So here's the correction that should have been in the first place.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why I didn't do that in the first place, but yeah.
Which is still crazy because by losing, you now have winnings. Anyways. But all right, let's pick it up from last Sunday where the Lakers and the Timbermen met one another, and it was they were playing as we were going off the air.
Yeah, and not much to speak of this game. It was a 9-3 win for the Burnaby Lakers. They really just kind of stifled Nanaimo's offense. Really, the Timbermen only managed one goal per period, and that was about it. Jack Jarbino kind of led the way for the Lakers with a goal and 3 assists. Hat trick for Silas Richmond, who's really had an outstanding season so far. Again, Keegan Mlenichuk got the start. Who's again another guy who's had a really great season so far with the Lakers. Stopped 52 of 55 shots. For the Timbermen, honestly, again, not much to talk about. Ryan Sheridan, Colton Lidstone, and Luke Pilcher were your goal scorers. And again, someone we talked about who might have been a true future goaltender or upcoming goaltender, Devlin Shanahan, took the loss. I don't know what happened with him. He just kind of fell off the cliff a little bit. he stopped 46 of 55 shots in this one.
Wow. All right, that brings us over to the Adanacs and Berards in another lopsided game.
Oh, let me get this one up. Sorry.
The Adanacs win 10-4 over the Berards in this one.
Oh, there it is. Adanacs and Berards. Hold on a second. Where did that game go? My
Adam
apologies.
Noakes, he led the
I
Adanacs.
apologize. Sorry, guys. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, 10-4 win for the Adanacs, and as we'll get to, the Adanacs are really kind of starting to catch fire now, and making their way up the standings. Then again, that's the Christian Del Bianco effect, right? But actually, the Browns were right in it. It was 4-2 after the first, but then, Christian Del Bianco shut the door in the third. Really, a 3-0 outscoring them. So leading the way to Adam Noakes, hat trick and 3 assists. Keen Moon with a goal and 3 assists, as well as James Ray with a goal and 3 assists. He also had 2 goals from David Cherney. As I said, Del Bianco, 37 saves and 41 shots. Leading for the Berards, Dylan McIntosh with 2 goals and an assist. He had 2 assists from Garrett Winter, goal and assist from Drew Andre. And Ryan Jones had 2 goals, 2 assists, and Deacon Fitzpatrick had a goal and an assist. And Brandon Humphrey was in goal for the Berards and stopped 35 of 45 shots in the loss.
All righty. Moving on over, we now head to Wednesday, and the Adanacs and the Thunder met up with one another.
Yeah, and the Adanacs keep on rolling. 11-6 over Langley. Keen Moon, 2 goals, 4 assists. Brian Simmons and Clark Walter each had a pair of goals. James Ray had a goal and an assist. Also a goal and assist. Del Bianco, 36 saves in the win. 6 goals allowed. For Langley, you had Toru Morimatsu with the hat trick and an assist. John Phillips had a goal and 2 assists. Cordell Primus with 3 assists. The Adanacs held Connor Robinson, Chase Gatlin, and Nathaniel Kozevnikov to combined 3 assists, 1 for each. And Caleb Kahn, 41 saves in the loss. Boy, for Langley, they're really starting to almost getting exposed against stronger teams. I think they're winless to date against Coquitlam, New West, and Victoria.
Yeah.
Their wins have come against Burnaby and Nanaimo, who were both winless until this past weekend. So
that's what I'm about to say. Caleb Kahn is a young goaltender. I'm wondering if teams are just starting to figure him out now.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, and just you're seeing a lot of rubber.
Yeah.
And, you're maybe not fully developed yet. You still got time to serve in juniors, but you're playing at the senior level. So, and that loss dropped Langley to 3-3, if I'm not mistaken.
3-4. Did they play one more? Yeah, that would be 3-3 because they played.
So
another game this week.
Again.
So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, then Thursday night, the first heavyweight matchup, if you will. Although
the marquee matchup.
Yeah. I mean, pretty soon the way the Adanacs are playing, they're going to be in the heavyweight conversation here. New West and Victoria, both undefeated coming into the game, and the game was at Queens Park Arena. And the home team, New West, took the win 12-9 over Victoria. 3 goals and 5 assists for Mitch Jones. Logan Schuss had a hat trick and 2 assists. Hayden Dixon, 2 goals and assist. And in his first game as a Salmon Belly, Adam Wiedemann, 2 goals and an assist. Justin Getty had 46 saves for the Salmon Bellies. Tyrell Hamer Jackson, 14 of 24 on faceoffs. For the Shamrocks, they were led by Andrew Q, hat trick and an assist. Clark Peterson had 2 goals and 1 assist. Cole pick up a pair of goals. Marshall King a goal and 5 assists. Cameron Dunkley started the game, gave up 3 goals on 5 shots. Was replaced by Chris Origlieri, who made 43 saves in relief. But New West strikes first, and that's big for them because the next 2 games against Victoria are both in Victoria, and in both instances, New West plays the night before. A different opponent the night before the game against Victoria. Yeah. So, it's going to be interesting to see whether they can eke out a win in one of those 2 games and win the season series.
And don't forget that Victoria has that tie too, which now definitely comes into play.
Oh yeah,
with a loss.
Yeah,
that 1 point could be big.
Yeah, and obviously, with the way Coquitlam's playing, they're going to have something to say too.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to it. But I mean, Coquitlam's now sitting in second place. Again, we'll get to it from what they've been doing. But I mean, because Victoria with that loss plus the tie.
Yep.
And then the Bellies continue their streak the next night.
Yeah, pick up a 10-9 win over the Burnaby Lakers, and that Ryan Martell with the game winner with 2 minutes left. Again, this Laker team, they only have, I believe it's 1 win at the moment, but I mean, you can't sleep on them. They are playing teams
keeping
tough.
Things close, yeah.
They are playing teams tough. For the Salmon Bellies, Hayden Dixon, 2 goals, 4 assists. Mitch Jones, a hat trick and 3 assists. Like I said, Martell with the game winner. He also had 3 assists. He had 2 goals from Jacob Ruwe. He also had 2 assists on the night. They actually started Ashton Leclerc in goal instead of Justin Getty. And he picked up the win with 43 saves on 52 shots. For the Lakers, a goal and 4 assists by Thomas Vela. Again, we mentioned Silas Richmond. Again, another great night with a hat trick. Ben McDonald also had a hat trick. You got 2 goals from Lucas Parson Quintanow. And in goal, he had Keegan Milenchuk, but he was replaced about midway through this game by Mark Russell Ripberger.
All righty. That brings us over to Saturday. And the Thunder and the Timbermen.
Yeah, and Timbermen pick up their first win of the season. Again, like we're mentioning, Langley's kind of dropping off a bit. It was a 12-9 decision. They were in this game actually quite right until the third period, honestly, because it was 2-1 after the first, and then scoring fest in the second. Both teams combined for 13 goals. But the Timbermen kind of started running away with it. They had a 4-goal run between the second and third period. The Thunder tried to come back with goals from Ksevnikov and Robinson, but just quite wasn't enough. Again, Ryan Sheraton's just really been a staple with this Timberman team. 3 goals, 3 assists. Thomas Vason, 2 goals, 2 assists. I also had a couple of goals from Caleb Creaser. In goal for the Timbermen, you had Caleb Bowman, stopped 55 of 64 shots. For the Thunder, a little bit different of a situation. You did see a lot more production of Connor Robinson and Nathaniel Kozevnikov. Robinson with 2 goals, 3 assists. Kozevnikov with 2 goals and 2 assists. You also had Kylan Brunch with 2 goals and 2 assists. And again, Caleb Kahn in goal, stopped 39 of 51 shots.
All right. Also on Saturday night, the Adanacs and Lakers got together, with the Adanacs, of course, coming out on top in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, with this win now, Adnax move into second place. They're 5-1-1. Well, Victoria still has a game in hand, but they're 4-1-1. So I mean, the Adnax have really kind of tightened up that race for the top spot in the standings. And let's see here. You had Adam Noakes again, a goal, 3 assists. You had a pair of goals from Brett McIntyre, Keen Moon, James Ray with a pair of goals as well. Again, no surprise, Christian Del Bianco in goal, only allowing 6 goals on 49 shots for the Lakers. And again, it's a 4-goal difference for a team that only has 1 win. They're keeping pace with these top teams, and they could very well play spoiler. Ben Stewart had a goal and 3 assists. You had a hat trick again from Silas Richmond, goal and assist from Thomas Vela, and Joel McCormick with 2 assists. And again, you saw both Mlenichuk and Russell Ripperger share time in goal for the Lakers.
Alrighty. And that brings us to tonight, where we have 2 games ongoing. One did start at the same time we did, which is Victoria against the Timbermen. And one later tonight, which is a 10 o'clock Eastern start, 7 o'clock Pacific, the Burrards against the Adnax. This is going to be a big night.
Yeah, currently the score in the Victoria game is 11-6 for Victoria in the 3rd period.
All right. Looking at the standings, of course, bizarre now. It's a mesh, a usual WLA mesh.
Yeah.
6-0 for the Salmon Bellies. Who thought that one's coming?
I mean,
4-1-1 for the Shamrocks, so they're sitting in 3rd right now. That's even crazier.
Yeah, that win.
They
frogged that next in the 2nd, right? And I was going to say the Salmon Bellies. I mean, not a huge surprise. I figured they're going to be one of the competitive teams with Victoria. I'm more surprised at where Victoria is sitting right now.
Well, yeah, and the Adnax being in 2nd is also, we've got the Del Bianco factor, but we weren't really looking at much else there.
Yeah,
and they're all coming together now. They have a differential right now of 21 plus 21.
Yep.
So they are for real. That's not bad in 7 games. But upcoming this week, we got a couple of big ones coming up too. Wednesday, you got the Burrards against the Thunder. The Timbermen against the Bellies on Thursday. Here's the big one for Friday night. Coquitlam against Victoria Friday night.
Yeah.
Don't you dare miss it.
If Victoria drops that one, that could be spell danger.
Yeah, that could really put a crank into their machine. But you have the Burrards versus the Lakers as well Friday night. Saturday night, you got the Salmon Bellies against the Timbermen. And the Adanacs play them on the Sunday. Interesting. The Timbermen are up for a long weekend.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
And then the Thunder are going against the Burrards also on Sunday evening next week. So this is going to be a telltale week of how these standings are going to fall out a little bit.
Yeah.
I think after this weekend, you're going to see the separation that we've all expected for a little bit now.
Yeah, like I said, again, that Adanac Shamrocks is either going to tighten the standings or you're going to see a little bit of a breakaway.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it, really. The Shamrocks have been, even the games that they're winning, I've been a little bit on this, as opposed to last year where they kind of cruised through everything. So, different year.
Yep.
And kudos to both Coquitlam and to New West to be putting on such formidable teams that the parity is quite good in the upper echelons. Now, again, we're looking at the bottom ones, and what do the Lakers and Timbermen and Burrards, for that matter, do?
Like I said, for Lakers,
and in there
for
with the
Lakers,
Luka.
I don't think there's much to say. I mean, they like I said, like there's been some top teams that they've been playing in tough.
Yeah, because their differential is only -12,
Yeah.
and they've played 8 games.
So I mean, I think they're just getting a lot of bad luck in some senses.
I mean, hey, without that ineligible player, that should
have been 2 wins. Yeah,
that's a win over Coquitlam. So
right, and let's also look at this: is they've got 119 penalty minutes. If they can't stay out of the box, they're doing themselves no favors.
Yeah,
and that kind of time in the box, you're losing a period a game to penalties. That's a lot of time in the box.
Yeah, I think the team that has to be worried is Nanaimo. Because you look at the Bards, they're still at 4 points. They're only 2 behind Langley for that last playoff spot. So, I mean, they're not out of the realm still. They can stay competitive. And the way kind of Langley's been playing lately, they're probably going to be able to, could very well catch them. It's,
there's
Nanaimo
2 games. They're playing each other
Nanaimo,
twice this week upcoming. So
yeah,
right.
So that could really make a difference. And Nanaimo's got a really tough schedule this week. They really haven't been playing their best lacrosse. Let's face it.
Well, they can either be food for teams, or they can be spoilers. And if they play a good week, boy oh boy, do they ever change this? They shake that standings up altogether.
Yeah.
I mean, Maple Ridge could go 3-0 this week. I mean, you've got 2 against the Thunder and you got 1 against the Lakers. Suddenly they're 4-3-2. And that's 10 points.
Yeah. This one's by far more interesting of the 2 leagues that are going on. But still, both have been giving us a whole bunch of really great lacrosse. And another week ahead of us of just spectacular stuff. Looking forward to all of it. I just want to remind everybody that we are on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we are on Thread, and we are on YouTube, as well as on www.streampunkentertainment.com. Please give us a look 3 or 4 or 5 times a day, because the news is always changing, and we are up to date with it for you. So you need not go anywhere else. As I say proudly, we are the Costco of lacrosse. We have everything for you. And we have everything through our connections that we can rely on. So the news that we can give to you, you can depend on. That being said, brings us over to last words. Mike, I'm going to start with you this week.
Oh, geez.
I
mean, another wild week in the WLA incoming for sure. And then, parity in the PLL. It's real. So, feels like more than half the teams are desperate already.
Dave. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks,
always.
Dave. Thanks for tuning in.
Dave.
All right, Shawn, over to you. Last words.
Yeah, same thing with Mike with WLA, and crazy week coming up. And just a bit of an update here at the BC Junior A. We actually do have a final. Langley came from behind with a 6-1 third period to win 12-8 over Victoria. So
wow.
A huge win for Langley and the BC Junior A's.
Wow. That is a big win. Holy smokes. Well, last words to me are really just looking forward to the major series week that is. There are some great games this week. The Peterborough-Oakville game promises to be a really great game. The Brampton and Six Nations game, the way Brampton's been playing Peterborough, if they can play Six Nations tough and find something in there, I'm just curious. It's either going to be a slaughter or it's going to be a 1-goal game. You're going to want to be there and watch this, because either way is going to be entertaining. As always, I want to thank my crew for just absolutely incredible coverage. Be it PLL, WLA, MSL, we have got you covered, OSL, everything. And everything is up in the time. Basically, the game is over, and so are our recaps up. So please, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell everybody about us. And if you want to watch a lot of retro games, or you want to watch any of our library shows or some of our other interviews and guests, please go onto our YouTube page, subscribe there, tell everybody about that as well. We really would appreciate it. Anyways, that'll do us for another week. For Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw, for Muffler Mike over in Connecticut, I'm Gary Groob in Toronto. Wishing you the best of weeks. Remember, keep your sticks high, keep your spirits higher. Until we meet again next week, have a great week, everybody. Remember, happy Father's Day. Until next week.